Hello, my name is Alex Stoltz, and welcome to this special edition of Future of Film podcast presented in partnership with Garden Studios. Where do you stand on AI? Do you see it as a democratizing force in film, or more of a destructive one, as a creative empowerer, or more like an artistic death bot? Well, one thing for sure is that the technology is not going anywhere. In fact, it's rapidly accelerating and only going to become more influential in the filmmaking process. And if that sounds a bit like the start of a dystopian sci-fi movie, it's not meant to, but the question really becomes then how we direct it, how we shape it, how we apply it. And these were some of the questions that were certainly circulating recently when we met at AI Open Days, which was held at Garden Studios in London. Across 2 days of workshops, discussions, demonstrations, and even some filmmaking, executives and artists from across art and entertainment, from choreographers to VFX artists, from animators to actors and distributors and producers, discussed and shared on this topic. And we were lucky enough to have demonstrations of some of the very latest technology using AI, including Move, Charisma, A-Dapt, and Wonder Dynamics. So in this series of podcasts, I spoke to some of the people behind the tools we mentioned to understand how AI is being used, to understand their tools and how they see them fitting into the future of film. And well, I certainly learned a lot, and I hope you enjoy this special edition of the Future of Film podcast, presented in partnership with Garden Studios.
Yeah, hi. So my name's Matthew. I spent probably about 20 years in advertising. I won't go into that story now. About 5 years ago, I came across a very interesting piece of AI that had been developed by a technical guy, very clever guy in Italy. And that became the basis for format adaptive media. It's interesting that I was from a different sector, but we pivoted into education in and around COVID. One of the things the format could do really well, we call it adaptive media, because it can adapt content, primarily video, to people based upon human factors such as attention, positivity, and engagement. Was when my own kids came back during COVID and then having to fire up old laptops, and they were given YouTube videos of maths. And I thought,
I remember that. Yeah.
The one thing our format is really good at, as well as some other things, but really, really good at, is measuring and sustaining attention. So we got some funding from Innovate UK to develop a maths prototype to help young children, year 4s, sustain attention in screen-based learning, which has become set us on our journey.
Amazing. So in a nutshell, this is about video which, and no, this is not the right way to say it, but watches back. This is like, it looks at looks at the audience member and can respond based on their reaction.
Yeah. So it's different to 99.9% of video, which has a start, a middle, and an end. Ours is adaptive, and it adapts based upon things such as human factors, such as attention, positivity. Also, we have diagnostic algorithms to assess if people are getting things wrong or right. And we use that to power, in this case, real actors playing things like maths teachers. So if you, in our maths tutorial, Miss Rose, which is on the website, which does mixed numbers, if you are quite confident, you're doing well, you don't need to spend a long time in that tutorial. If you lack confidence, you're getting the answers wrong, then the tutorial, the pathway expands for the length of time that you need. And another interesting point about that one was when we tested it in schools, we found that children were not able always to put the right number in the right box. And we thought that was a problem with the the UI design, although it was based upon White Rose Maths national curriculum. So he said, "Oh no, they make this mistake all the time," and that then can become a pathway, which is filling out the fraction boxes in an efficient way. So we see it very much as a format that can help in things like tutorials do things that a conventional linear video can't do very well.
You presented it to us earlier at AI Open Days, and you made it a distinction between facial recognition and what's happening with the camera with A-Dapt.
Yeah, so it's a very important point. Our format, our technology works using the device camera as a sensor. So it's not sending your biometric image to a server. Some advantages of that, obviously, safety. The last thing we want to do is be sending particularly young children, young adults, their facial image to a server. We don't know what's going to happen to it. Ours works within the browser, within the sandbox of the browser, which means that it's just processing the frame in real time and it's immediately deleted. That's a bit like a human in a way. Obviously, we have memory, but if we meet someone for the first time and we don't know their name, their date of birth, we haven't seen their, say their Facebook or their TikTok or their LinkedIn, we don't have this big cloud of programmatic data. We all have this human algorithm that enables us to adjust and adapt based upon demographics. So they young, old, emotions, happy, sad, surprised, paying attention, not paying attention. And when you put these factors into the context of something like a maths tutorial, you can start to adapt the tutorial in real time based upon factors such as maths anxiety.
So responsive, and I can totally see the application for education and training. We're here at the film studios. What do you think in terms of filmmaking or storytelling? How can this technology be used?
That's why we're here. I'm a creative person by trade in more kind of the conventional advertising world. We really want to get the format into the hands of creators who've got ideas for it. We've been talking about what we can do with it in the entertainment sector. We'd really like to make it available to people who have great ideas. It could be it's a short film, it could be it's a music promo. People try the demo on the website and look at some of the things we've made with it. I mean, it's a format. It's got thousands of potential applications across lots and lots of sectors. We own the format. We don't want to do anything nefarious with it. We don't want to. We want to be a trustworthy AI ethical format. That said, having fun, doing interesting things with it is part of its DNA. Amazing.
Tell me a bit about the AI part of it. What does that enable you to do?
So it's a 750 kilobyte AI with our own deep neural network. It doesn't profile things like race because we don't think that's particularly helpful. Other things do. We don't see the need for that. The data sets are pretty good. There are some areas where it can fall over a little bit, and when you do the demo, you'll see that the information skit around quite a lot, the age range, because it's just analyzing one frame. It's when we analyze a lot of data. So, for instance, our soft skills, where we help young adults learn interview skills, we show them how to go from maybe 6 negative emotions to 6 positive ones out of 10 to help them learn and improve their interview skills. So the first part is the AI that works within the browser. Then we have an authoring software that enables us to trigger events based upon key things. So a classic one is if you're not paying attention to the lesson, the actor will intervene and ask you to pay attention. And then we have our own player that instead of just playing linear videos, it can play adaptive videos, and that's a 350 kilobyte player. So that's like any web-based player, it automatically downloads. So we could play a linear YouTube video, but a YouTube player couldn't play our format because that's bespoke.
I see. And so the experience of a user adjusts and responds based on the algorithms, based on the facial recognition, or not facial recognition, facial analysis.
Yeah. It can do. It's more the icing on the cake, let's say. So for something like the maths tutorial, because a year 4 mixed numbers based on the national curriculum is a very narrow thing. So we know if you're getting the answers wrong or right, and the interventions can be very specific to the content. If it's something where we're just responding in real time, obviously it's not much good for that. But if it's a music video, if it's a sitcom, if it can be applied to lots and lots of things, and it's that magic of the emotion or the input from the user changing the pathway, which we think is a kind of a real leap forward. And particularly for sectors like, I know, marketing or advertising, we all buy things based on emotion. Yeah. We can apply those parameters, things like healthcare videos, to all sorts of interesting things that are yet to be invented. And as sort of observation really is that a year ago we were talking to VCs, tech VCs. Why don't you wait for the metaverse to come along? Well, it's not going to come along in a format that's useful anytime soon. And the really exciting thing, for good and bad, with generative text, with ChatGPT, is that the moment you put AI into something that already works, like search, you transform it. And that's what we're seeing today at this event, not just ourselves, but loads of other amazing things here. So thank you, Garden Studios, for the invite. Is when you put AI into video, it's a really creative space. New things are going to open up. It's a very interesting time right now.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned it. We're here at AI Open Days. What's been your reflections or perspective on the day?
Well, I a lot. I mean, one stood out was the Move AI guys were very interesting. We were actually on the same table as them at the South by Southwest Awards. But I think UK innovation, creativity is going to really lead the world in this space. I focused a lot on education. We shouldn't be looking to Silicon Valley to solve problems in education in the UK. We need governments to work out what the strategy is. We need governments to support the creative industries. I mean, to be fair, they're doing a pretty good job more recently on that. If the UK really wants to take advantage of this, we've got everything here. We've got the scientists, we've got the AI, got the brains, got the filmmakers. It will no doubt disrupt the industry quite a lot because it will change ways that people make things, particularly in advertising and stuff like that. But I think we're better placed than anyone else to make new, interesting things with AI and video.
Amazing. Matthew, thanks for joining the show, and tell the viewers and listeners where they can find out more about A-Dapt.
So if you'd like to try our AI and have a look at some of our case studies, just go to adapt.com. So that's a-dapt.com. If you want to get in touch, if you've got ideas about what you could do with our format, please reach out. Thank you.